God bless you. Greetings to each and every one of you wonderful people. In the book of Romans, chapter number 10, it says, how can they hear without a preacher? Well, let's start with 10 verse 13. Whosoever shall call, Romans chapter 10 verse 13. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Save me, save from sin. Matthew 1:21. Corinthians chapter 6 verse 9. The book of Titus chapter 2 verse 11. The book of Ephesians chapter 1 verse 4. Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 6. Mark chapter 1 verse 15. Mark chapter 2 verse 17. 1 John chapter 1. 1 John chapter 3. Hebrews 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. Plus many more. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Acts chapter 3. In the very last few verses of Acts chapter 3. Matter of fact, let me get that. We go somewhere. Hallelujah. Glory to God. Acts chapter 3. God. Acts chapter number 3. Save means save from sin. Your sin took away. Acts 2:38. Acts chapter 3. And verse 19. Acts 3:19. Then you're going on down to Acts 3:26. Unto you first God, having raised up his son Jesus Christ, sent him to bless you in turning every one of you away from his iniquity. Turn you away from it. The blood of Jesus cleans us from all sin. Matthew 26:26. Now, 2 Timothy 3:19. Titus 1. All that scripture I'm giving out there. But back to Romans. Whosoever shall, 10 and 13. Whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. How can they call on him in who they have not heard? How can they hear without a preacher? How can they preach except they be sent? How can they hear without a preacher? How can they preach except they be sent? All right. I just gave you scripture on here now that'll save your soul and take your sin away. Hallelujah. But how can they hear without the preacher? God, you got to hear the preacher. And the preacher don't give you his word. The preacher give you the words of Jesus Christ. The scripture, just like I gave you. How can they hear without the preacher? Sad. Well, gladly, a lot of you been sitting up in church all your life. Some sit up in the Church of God in Christ, in Baptist, Methodist, Apostolic faith, and whatever. Some don't go to church. But how can you hear without a preacher? Gladly, a lot of you never heard the gospel preached until you heard this preacher. Come across Facebook and YouTube and meet some of you in person. And talk to some of y'all watching me in person. A lot of you preachers and big, you never heard the gospel of Jesus Christ until you heard this sick preacher right here. And others. How can they preach except they be sent? A lot of you never heard the gospel until you, my God, the gospel came down your timeline on Facebook. Popped up on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat. Ran into you in the supermarket. While you on your cell phone, the gospel came to you. How can they preach except they be sent? You never heard the gospel until you heard it from me. And many others, whoever brought you the gospel of Jesus Christ. We don't preach ourselves. Thank God for Facebook. Sadly, you won't get truth in your church. But God knows you're going to get it on Facebook. You're going to interrupt your Facebook. Interrupt your YouTube scrolling. Interrupt Instagram and Periscope and the gospel of Jesus Christ through technology. Paul wrote letters. We see the video. All you see our face. Though we're not there with you personally, you see our face. Post the gospel. How can they hear without a preacher? How can he preach except he be sent? God sent the preacher. Hallelujah. Thank God for the preacher. Thank Jesus for sending the preacher to you. Thank Jesus for social media and radio and TV. And you heard the gospel and you obeyed. Some of you didn't know the truth, but now you know the truth. And you're going to obey. You ain't quite ready yet. But you respect God and respect the truth. All right. How can they hear without a preacher? But you done heard the preacher. A lot of you pastors and so-called bishops and apostles, you heard the truth. But some of you too stiff-necked and hard-headed and love money, but hell gonna be your portion. God, you heard the preacher. All right. That's enough. God bless you.